A lot of criticisms that social justice warriors have about media are very relevant to Canon.
Yes.
You know,
oh, no doubt.
You know,
and if Canon were around today, they would be public enemy number one.
Number fucking one with a bullet.
And without a doubt, like, I mean, Jesus, can you imagine if, like, original Michael Winner, Charles Bronson Death Wish came out today? Boycotts. Oh, if people thought the fucking female Ghostbusters thing was a fucking irritant, this shit would never go away.
The thing is, I often thought about trying to remake Death Wish. There's a lot of people. I know Eli Roth is going to remake Death Wish.
Yeah, there was talk of that, and
there was talk of the two guys who made Big Bad Wolves.
Yeah, which would be excellent.
Which I thought was kind of weirdly fitting because there's two Israeli directors.
Yeah, and
we all know Canon were the guys who bred the most life into
exactly,
into the Death Wish franchise.
Although I remember watching Kermode's little video about it.
Yeah.
And he was and
that's Mark Kermode for anyone who's
yes, of course, yeah. And the original idea behind it, like Sidney Lumet directing Jack Lemmon.
Oh yeah, it'd be amazing.
The more I think about it, the more it's like, why didn't we see that movie? That could have been amazing.
Yeah.
You know?
Jack Lemmon in particular, like, is the prototypical sad old man.
Yeah.
So that film would have been way more tragic and it was a tragic film.
Chuck, in all fairness to him, he didn't really have that particular aspect to his range.
No,
you know?
but at the same time, right? Would we have gotten Death Wish 3 out of that Sidney Lumet Death Wish 1? I don't think so, and that's why I think that's the right decision because as anyone will tell you, Death Wish 3 is the greatest film ever made.
Jack Lemmon on a fire escape with fucking Thompson, that'd be amazing.
With fat oats.
Fat oats? Yeah, you're actually onto something there. I can't say you're wrong.
He can't go for that because he's unfit.
Yeah, no can do.
No can do. Those stairs get fucked. If there's not an escalator, he's not having it. Like,
where does he stop? Where do you dare him to draw the line? That's the question.
Man-eater, alright. He eats the fucking arse of a ragdoll, like, you know. Oh, here she comes. She has to come to him.
Yeah.
He won't get up.
Watch out, boy. She'll pull you up off the couch.
Off the couch. Don't want that. Sorry, if your man who played Bronson's pal in Death Wish 3 is listening, I'm sorry. You were literally in one of my favourite movies, though. So,
yeah,
you know.
and if you're Oates, again, sorry, we're sure you're in good shape.
Oh, he's probably grand.
Yeah.
You know, you'd have to keep up in good shape if you're hanging around with that fucking Fox Darrell Hall.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, Jesus.
You
know?
Where the fuck did this go from?
I don't know, but I mean, that was probably the best cold opener that we could hope for.
Pretty much, yeah.
Which is my plan. I'm sure many people now who would have listened to the original Canon podcast are now back in they're back in the womb.
Yeah.
The audio womb.
It's like we never left.
It's like we haven't grown up at all.
Yeah. It's like we haven't matured as people in any way, shape or form in the last 12 months. It's mean, amazing.
The fact that we just went, let's do Delta Force probably leads into that very well, like, you know. Good to be back
absolutely,
about,
man.
Our favourite studio from the 1980s.
And it's good to be back talking random nonsense with your good self.
Oh yeah, and obviously obviously we do it a lot.
Yeah, true.
But do it in an audio form so we can have people, say nice things to us for it.
Exactly, yeah.
It's because we are both desperate for attention.
Yeah, pretty much. That's why I do what I do.
Yeah. Why does anyone get into art? Because they want people to say they're nice.
Exactly. Yeah.
What have you been up to in the last 2 years or whatever it is?
The last year. Okay. I finally got accepted to university. Gonna head there in a couple of weeks' time. My missus is finally moving over from Germany, which is always good. Apart from that, I've just been doing stand-up and studying and shit like that. You know, just been being a person and watching a shitload of dodgy movies.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's always part of it, isn't it?
Exactly. I mean, that's a part of me that will never go away, I think. I reckon when I'm 70 years old, I'm going to be watching like the original Walking Tall, going to my grandkids, this is how they made them back in the day. You know.
Well, I mean, we can all dream, I suppose. Like, you know. I mean, obviously, I've gone through similar ups and downs of life.
Absolutely. You know? Did that clear up, by the way?
Well, yeah.
All right, so.
But no, it was a strange year because I think when we stopped recording the podcast was when a bunch of things just fell apart.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah, just like technologically.
Yeah.
Socially.
Personally. Like, I was just like...
Exactly.
Oh God, everything is shit.
Yeah.
I can't talk about Breaking 2. I don't have the time. And then last year we tried to...
Yeah, which upset me greatly because I watched it like 3 times to make sure I got all the notes done.
But we tried to record the Charles Bronson
Christmas
special, and that just didn't work out. We had shit audio.
Yeah. And we didn't feel right about releasing it because it would have been just crap.
Oh, it was awful. But the biggest thing for me is that I started working for a company called Educated Machine, and the reason I bring them up is they paid for the microphone that we're using right now, and
right on.
Yeah, because I would invite people who listen to the show to check out the show that we will be our company will be making in well, actually we're in the process of putting it out at the moment, but yeah, if you if you appreciate the show and you like it being back on the air, I would advise you to go listen to that one. I'm on it obviously as well because I'm the
you're the man, of course.
I'm the talent, like, you know.
Yeah, of course.
But anyway, listen, enough about us.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the Delta Force.
Yeah.
That's what we're here to discuss today.
Absolutely.
I think it was just almost a spontaneous thing where we were just like, what film will we do? And
yeah.
I think you just said, let's just fucking do Delta Force.
Pretty much, yeah. And it wasn't just picked at random. It was one I saw back when I was about like 10 or 12 years old and thought, that's friggin' awesome. Mm-hmm. And I then just never watched it again. And I thought it'd be nice to go back, you know?
Yeah, I mean, with me, I think myself and my mum watched it when I was about 8. It was on ITV on like their Saturday night lineup or whatever. I think this is after Walker Texas Ranger come out, so Chuck Norris was kind of a deal in the house, like,
absolutely.
You know? And yeah, it was cool. Like we watched it, and we had a lot of fun. And I think I mentioned on the show before, like, that my mum was a big action movie fan. So this is par for the course for us on Saturday night. Like, it was super good. Like, I remember really enjoying it back then. And watching it today, it was kind of strange because I realised that I haven't grown out of action movies. You know? But, like, the thing with, like, we should probably talk about the background to the film a little bit. Because, like, first of all, directed by Menachem Golan.
Yeah.
Which makes this the best film to put a new start on this podcast.
Absolutely, because we're going back to like what truly is canon. Mm-hmm. It being about the Israeli conflict and him being sort of like the Ted Nugent of Israel. Just because he kind of was. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
It just seemed right, you know, that this would be.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, but it's a Chuck Norris starring film, obviously. As well. It's also got Lee Marvin, Robert Forster, which is I mean, a big deal. I think we're probably both Robert Forster fans.
Absolutely. Jackie Brown was such a movie.
Steve James, of course, from American Ninja.
Yeah.
He's back. And
Curtis Jackson himself.
George Kennedy. From Bolero. Unfortunate
poor put upon man.
He's in this, and he had one of the more memorable scenes from my liking. This is an all-star cast.
Yeah,
Shelley Winters is in there as well.
Shelley Winters is in it. Lainey Kazan is in it. Mm-hmm. Joey Bishop of Frank Sinatra's Rat Pack is in it. Mm-hmm. Bo Svensson of the original Walking Tall is the pilot.
Oh yes.
And in terms of going through the IMDb page earlier, this movie had about 30 named characters, and the majority of them had talented veteran actors were playing them. So it was probably the strongest ensemble cast that Canon probably ever produced.
I mean, it seemed like they put a lot of time, money and effort into putting this film together and making it work.
I mean, you said earlier that it's a Chuck Norris movie. I would kind of argue that, to be honest, because it's an ensemble piece that Chuck sort of takes over at some point at a point in the proceedings we'll talk about later.
It's but it's really, you can tell they put a lot of effort in here.
Absolutely.
It was obviously based on a real incident, and I think you've done the research. I don't know.
Actually, it was based on two real incidents.
All right.
One was Operation Eagle Claw, which was the U.S. Embassy hostage situation in Tehran in 1980, in April 1980, which didn't really turn out all that well for the West, to be perfectly honest. But the one it more
West of Ireland.
I was going to say the Western world.
Oh, okay. They're salty about it in Clúibé.
Yeah, there's you can't mention it in Kilmaine. They still lose their minds about it, and if you bring it up in Ballina, oh Jesus,
okay.
The struggle has really just evolved around those parts. The one it was more influenced by in terms of plot points and what have you is a situation called Operation Entebbe, where an Air France plane with 248 passengers was hijacked and flown to Uganda.
Okay.
There were a lot of Israelis on board, and 100 Israeli Defense Force staff go down, about 36 special forces with them.
American special forces?
No, Israeli.
Oh, okay.
And I'm sure there was some American support and what have you.
Yeah.
And it was even Yasser Arafat's personal secretary was working as a negotiator. This was a long, drawn-out thing.
Yeah.
And interesting little postscript to this one. It was led by Lieutenant Colonel Yonatan Netanyahu, who was the older brother of current
Old Benny.
Of Old Benny, yeah. The happiest man alive.
Yeah. He's got 6 kids to feed.
Exactly. In Israeli history, it's not remembered as Operation Entebbe. It's remembered as Operation Yonatan. It was renamed after him because apparently he did the full-on Chuck.
Oh, really?
This one,
He launched rockets and shit.
Well, maybe not that, but...
Okay. There was that TWA flight thing as well, though, right?
Yeah, the thing out of Paris, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was that too. That was just because it was in the news at the time that it got, instead of a TWA flight, it became a AWT flight in the movie and stuff like that. But it was kind of exploitation cinema in a lot of ways, Delta Force, because it was like taking something that was ripping something right out of the front page, and making a movie out of it.
It's not uncommon practice, though.
Oh, absolutely.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head. But
Syriana, maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
Argo.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that lift from the headlines.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think maybe because this was directed by a man who was literally served in the Israeli Air Force.
Yeah.
And named himself renamed himself after the disputed territory known as Golan Heights.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah, like, Golan, he was like an Israeli nationalist.
Oh, yeah.
And like a very proud Israeli.
We'll get into that in a minute because I think there's a lot of pertinent film talk.
Absolutely, yeah.
But so that's the intro out of the way. So I guess we'll. I think we used to do some music or something in between the intro and the thing. So that happens.
Absolutely.
Back. I don't know. But we're going to talk about the meat of the film now. Now we're not going to. I think we used to hamstring ourselves a little bit when we talked about every little detail in a Canon movie.
Yeah.
In the original. And here for the sequel, we want to be leaner and meaner.
Absolutely.
And we're just going to try and be a little bit more general.
We're dropping down to light heavyweight.
We're doing a Cedric Alexander.
Exactly.
Down to 205.
Hey, it worked for him.
And we're going to fucking have the fucking match of the year. Jesus, mate. I got 2 matches on WWF television. I'll just outshine everyone.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, way to go.
Yeah, good luck topping that one, Sabre.
Anyway, at the beginning of the film, for anyone who's watched it, we started out on a weird kind of flashback. Yeah. It was like a flashback to Chuck Norris being the greatest American who ever lived.
Yeah. As far as I can tell, this scene was only there for foreshadowing what was to come.
Yeah, Chuck Norris is usually late for flights.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost like a romantic comedy setup.
I was going to get to that later, but there was a bit of that. All right. Apparently, some mission had sort of been compromised or whatever, and he had to pull his injured mate out of a burning Humvee or some such nonsense like that. And Colonel Nick Anderson, played by Lee Marvin, is going, "Fuck him, we're just going to leave him there." Yeah. And he sounds like Jesse Ventura for some reason.
We might as well get it out of the way. As far as the army is concerned, Lee Marvin in this film is the big boss man.
Indeed, he is.
But the lads escape an old hairy situation, and Chuck retires because he likes to retire in films.
Yeah,
and come out of retirement.
Exactly,
films, just like in Invasion USA.
Yeah,
which again, full circle. Invasion USA, episode 1 of the original.
Absolutely, and the main difference between this one and the last one was when shit goes down in this one, it doesn't take him about a third of the fucking movie to get his arse in gear.
Yeah.
There's a scene where he's having his lunch and it's on TV in the background and he hears about it and it's like, right, fuck that, I'm sorting this shit out.
Yeah.
Gets in his Jeep, drives onto the Air Force Base and it's like, your gear's on the plane there, Chuck.
We knew you'd be back.
Yeah.
We've even kept all the teeth you collected in Yemen. But anyway, we go to the airport after that, and there's a bunch of people, and this is very important to set up the story. There's a bunch of people getting on a plane, and they're getting along fucking fabulously,
tremendously.
Like, you would swear that they were about to announce the formation of the United Federation of Planets.
You would
based
think
on
so.
how happy these people were.
Now, I've had, I'm sure we've all had it, the awkward conversation with fellow passengers
at the
while
airport.
you're waiting for the plane.
Yeah.
And it's never this instantly friendly.
No.
It's always sort of, so, have you seen Suicide Squad yet?
Yeah.
Something like that. And it'll lead to about 10 minutes awkward conversation before you just give up.
The closest I ever got to that was when I was in an airport with a listener of the Canon podcast, and he missed out on the opportunity to finger a face painter. But less said about that, the better.
You'll have to tell me that story later.
Fucking for shame. For shame. She was mad sound. She was really nice.
Okay.
She was well into him, and he just...
And
I feel bad now calling him out on it, but come on, man.
Sort your life out.
She was fucking cool. They're all getting on fucking fabulously, right? I have expected this to turn into a fucking musical that we're getting along so well,
yeah.
like, you know.
They
They also established, of course, that a lot of them are Jewish.
Yeah, and they all seem like the loveliest people in the world.
Oh, you'd love to go to bingo with them.
Yeah, like...
Because they're all out ones.
Exactly. And... Like, there was a scene where Shelley Winters is buying something for her grandkid, and it's like, Mom, you'll spoil her. I did okay with you, didn't I?
Come on, we go home and get painted.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Because somebody wants to paint our perfect life. But Americans are getting on the plane. Fucking Russians are getting on the plane. But
The Russian guy going, America's been great to me.
Oh, he's just like, I watched Rocky 4.
Yeah.
I thought, if he can change, I can change.
Yeah, he just interrupts George Kennedy hanging out with nuns as he is wont to do.
Yeah, because George Kennedy plays a priest.
Yeah, that.
He's not just hanging out with nuns like a big pimp. Like, you know?
Although that would be awesome.
Like a Spanish porn.
Yeah, he just... That's the weirdest pull you've done, but...
excuse you, I grew up in a Catholic country, same as you did,
absolutely.
Right?
But it's also weird, we both know that. This guy, he just interrupts George Kennedy hanging out with these girls, and, just tells him how great America is and how happy he is to be there, and how amazing his life is now that he lives not on the right side of the Iron Curtain. That sort of
He's
thing.
like, I love paying for my own healthcare.
Exactly, it's amazing. Who wouldn't like that?
And it's like, you know what I fucking hate?
What?
Proportional representation.
Yeah.
The lads are they're this close to having a trad session.
Yeah.
Right. So,
and then we contrast that.
But wouldn't you know it?
Yeah.
A couple of fucking lads from the Lebanon turn up.
Yeah.
And they're not there to play.
No. Including Robert Forster looking like every 80s villain ever wrapped into one.
Yeah. Well, we need to bring up the problematic. Oh God, I used that word.
Yeah.
It is it is a word though that works here.
It is a word that works.
He's browned up.
Yeah.
Robert Forster is a Caucasian gentleman.
Yeah, no, he's on the dark side of Caucasian, but he's not that dark.
He's got a tan.
Yeah, he's got a tan, but he's not. He's not. He's not Arabic.
Yeah. No, he's not. No, he's not.
Yeah.
But close enough. For Menachem Golan.
By Canon standards, why not?
Yeah, he's playing a Lebanese man called Abdul.
Yeah.
Took him all day to come up with that name. And him and his boys get on, looking like they just come from some disco or something.
Yeah, he's looking quite pimpish.
Yeah, at first I was there going, I hope this one's about him.
Yeah.
Just going to...
It kind of is.
It kind of is, yeah. The lads get on the plane and they're basically stirring shite.
Yeah.
And what they do is they hijack the plane, once the plane's taken off, right? Hijack the plane, and they say they're doing it for the New World Revolution.
Yeah.
Now, when I first heard that name, I was like, I'm surprised TNA didn't run with that when Hogan and the lads came in, you know.
Yeah.
And just because that is the lamest shit ever. The New World Revolution.
You know, as soon as I heard New World, I immediately went.
But I was just like, that is just. Do you know what? When I hear the words New World Revolution, I just see like long pants with kick pads.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That kind of.
Or like the band that Prince left when he formed the New Power Generation.
Yeah,
you know, something like that.
Because he didn't want to play covers of Sweet Child of Mine.
Pretty much.
Anyway, the thing is, it's done. It's actually done. The setup is done fine.
Yeah.
And as we move in, they've kind of they hide. They go. They literally say this is a hijack.
Yeah.
And they take over the plane and immediately start rounding up the Jewish passengers on the plane. Yes. They go, there are Israelis on this plane. Now, they never quite spell out why they don't like Israelis.
Yeah.
I guess we're just supposed to understand that Arabs don't like Israelis.
Well, this was the New World Revolution.
Yeah.
As far
for
as
life.
For life. You know, too sweet, brother.
Yeah.
But apparently they were the stand-in for the PFLP.
Oh, okay.
The popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, which were the big bad mamma jamma of Middle Eastern terrorism at the time.
It's the precursor to Hamas.
Yeah, and you know, among their numbers they had like Carlos the Jackal and people like that.
Oh, shit!
They were bad dudes.
Heavy duty.
Yeah, they were bad enough dudes, but they weren't out to save the president.
Yeah, I mean, they were out to kill the president.
Pretty much. But and I think it's never really said. You know, well, you can't really say it because contained universe and everything, but it was heavily implied that that's who they were. Yeah. Like, they couldn't outright say it.
But did these guys, the original guys, did they have ties to Lebanon?
Yes.
Okay.
There were a lot of, like, Lebanese nationals in their number. And interesting fact, actually, this film was shot in Israel. Yeah. And because this was a movie kind of taking a shot at the PFLP, security was tight as a fucking duck's arsehole the entire time. Yeah. It took about like a good corner of this airport to film on, and unless you were on the crew or the cast, you couldn't get within about a quarter mile of it, because I can imagine why. You know, the IDF would shoot you dead. Yeah.
But anyway, when they start, when these guys, the NWR, they start round.
Too sour.
Yeah, black and white. They're too sour. But that's the fucking problem with this world.
Exactly.
Too sour. We need
too salty, man. Too salty.
But the bit that stuck with me, like, they start rounding up Israelis, and as I said, like you mentioned there, the PFLP. Yeah. Like, these guys never quite explain to the audience why they are rounding up Jews, but they are. So, but what they start rounding the guys up, and it's actually quite harrowing. Yeah. Like, even when I was watching it again, even though this is kind of a schlocky action movie. Yeah. Like, it is. It's not.
Yeah, there was like a bit of like Schindler's List and Sophie's Choice about this,
like the bit where one guy lifts his arm up and his sleeve moves and you can see the numbers on his arm.
And you're like, that was not the only reference either. I mean, Shelley Winters has a bit of a meltdown when they're taking her husband away. It's like, you know, there's two of them, there's tons of us. Yeah. We can't go through this again. Yeah. And you know, the poor Ingrid, the purser on the flight.
Oh, the Aryan German...
The blonde-haired, blue-eyed German ideal woman. Yeah. It's like, you expect me, a German, to go through these passports looking for Jewish names. Yeah. And this shit was on the nose.
What was weird about that was the guys... almost seemed like they didn't know what she was talking about. Like, she's there going, I can't do this in German, and Robert Forster's just there going, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, he looks at her like, and? Yeah. And it was like, what universe were they living in that, like, people in the Middle East would not understand the fallout of World War II?
Yeah, this lad was just like,
whatever.
our fucking problem is.
Exactly.
Like, there's a lot of things that stood out to me about that, like the whole rounding up of people. But the scene where George Kennedy, as a Catholic priest, which his name is like Billy O'Shamrock or something,
Billy O'Malley, I think it was something like that. But
he stands up and walks to the back with the guys from Israel, and when they stop him and ask him, they go, "What are you doing?" He goes, "You looking for Jews? I'm a Jew too, just like Jesus Christ." Yeah. That scene stuck with me when I was a kid.
That, and there's a reason for that. That was that scene was based on a Catholic priest who went into the chamber in Belsen, in the place of someone else.
Oh shit!
Like, that's a fairly famous story coming out of the Holocaust.
Well, I mean, this is
again right on the nose.
Yeah. But I remember that scene sticking with me when I was a kid. And the first time I saw it, and watching it again, I was just like,
watching it today, I was thinking, you deserve better than hanging out with Bo Derek.
Yeah.
I mean, just as a human being, you are made of better stuff than dealing with that Frank Mir looking tit.
Yeah. But I know she's got to.
Oh, fair enough, yeah. In fairness.
She's quite open about that.
Yeah.
Like, if you've ever seen any of her movies. Watching this as well, like, it's hard not to be a little bit cynical. It wouldn't take a genius to figure out that Menachem Golan has a lot of angst about his neighbours in the Middle East and the Holocaust, etc. And I don't mean to be... this is a lighthearted podcast. The Holocaust isn't really, hey, you driving home?
Yeah.
Kyle, you driving home on Friday? Having a laugh?
You enjoying yourself? Let's bring it up a notch. Yeah. Let's take it to a fun place.
But there's all of this, there's all of this heavy stuff, okay? But for all the propaganda that the film has, I actually think you spend a lot of time with the terrorists.
Exactly, yeah.
Like Abdul and
Mustafa,
the gangsters. Yeah. But the two boys.
If we can get natural born killers now, that would be lovely.
But I played the whole way
through the podcast.
Well, if we don't finish the match,
of course,
keep going. There's a deep cut.
That is a deep cut right there. Taking it back to the 90s, man.
Oh man, sure. Look at the remake and fucking Hackers or whatever they're doing these days. Oh yeah, the 90s is everywhere.
And it's going to be an all-female cast.
Yeah,
it's
even though half the cast back then was female.
Yeah, but that's not the point.
Yeah, but the fucking gangsters. You spend a lot of time with them. Yeah. And what's weird for me was I felt like the audience spent enough time with these guys that to us they became almost three-dimensional characters. Yeah. But they never became three-dimensional characters to the other characters in the film.
Exactly, yeah. And like there were scenes in it where this little girl comes running up to Mustafa and is like, "Well, what's wrong with my doll. Yeah, yeah. And he hands it to her. It's like, "What's your name?" "Ellen." "How old are you?" "6." I had a 6-year-old.
Yeah. And you know immediately.
You know immediately what went down. Because if you're hijacking a plane and you talk about your daughter, some shit went down.
Yeah, she's not in the guides.
In my opinion, at least, Robert Foster nailed this shit.
Oh, he did. Like, for all the political incorrectness of his part, like, he is really good in this film.
Yeah, he is. That dude has got a fuck you stare.
Yeah. Like, there's that whole he finds a Jewish, like a Hebrew inscribed wedding ring. Yeah. And there's this, he licks it to put it on, and then like he's giving it back to the woman who took it off, and he licks it and takes it, and he just looks at her straight in the eyes. It's almost like he's licking the fucking flesh off of her fingers. Yeah. It's just pure like, I am a dude who will do anything. Yeah. You know?
And then you contrast that when he's letting Ingrid off the plane. Yeah. You know, he does look her deep in the eye and go, "You're a brave woman." Yeah. I got the impression from him, this is just my take on it at least, that Abdul was a guy that what he was doing was a means to an end. Yeah. Like there was no particular personal animus to anyone on the plane. Yeah. It was just this is what we do. This is what we have to do.
It's I don't mean to bring it up, but it's almost like a 1916 scenario.
Exactly.
Where it's like, we're not going to win.
Yeah.
But we're just going to fucking make it. The world kind of.
We're going to make the world take notice. Yeah. There's another bright and airy topic.
When the lads won everything, did nothing wrong.
Nothing bad happened after that.
No, everyone got medals.
Oh yeah.
But
there weren't scenes that you'd see in South America.
No, nothing bad happened. I'm sure it was only a few years later we were in Italy winning the World Cup.
Absolutely.
But
and Finn Balor's going to win at SummerSlam. The Canon's coming back. Ireland has just peaked. To be honest with you. I mean,
it's only down from here. But back to the 80s.
Yeah.
Fucking Johnnies are illegal again.
I know.
But as I said, it's cool that we learn that we were discussing about those characters. But Chuck Norris never learns anything about them. And we actually spend more time with them than we do with the Delta Force.
Exactly, yeah.
The main part of the movie.
Yeah, I think this movie runs about 2 hours 10, and a good hour and a half of that is spent on the plane with these people. And
they like you were saying, they let the women and children go.
Yeah.
And which is usually one of the demands straight away in any of these scenarios. But they take the Israelis and George Kennedy and a couple of American military guys.
Yeah.
And they were on the plane and brought them to this shit fucking Bobby Sands prison.
Yeah.
And they were they chucked them in there. And that actually gave us the first great action scene in the movie. Because Chuck Norris and his mate go and do a bit of recon on the thing. And it goes completely tits up. Yeah.
Now, I think we were a good hour into the movie before the first action beat of an action movie happens.
Yeah.
And they were teasing it for a long time before that. Yeah. When the plane first hit the tarmac in Beirut, the Delta Force were there and they were ready to go.
Yeah.
And they get word that there's a lot more terrorists on the plane than we originally thought.
Yeah, because it's so huge.
Yeah, and all that sort of thing. And it was sort of they kind of blue-balled you at that point.
Yeah,
where you're thinking, wow, there's going to be a fucking big shoot-off now. And it's no, we're going to make you wait.
Yeah. Chuck and his mate, they go into... they're doing a bit of recon, as I said. They get caught, and it all goes tits up. So they have to fucking get out of Beirut.
Yeah.
And that gives us our first killer action scene. And it really is something else. Because Menachem Golan can direct action.
Yeah.
He might not be the world's most subtle filmmaker.
Oh, God, no.
But when it comes to action scenes, that guy knows what he's doing.
Now, there were a few little instances of Paul Greenglass, shaky, shaky cam, quick cut. We are not quite sure what's going on. But apart from that, it's a fucking beautiful scene.
It's just it's them. It reminded me of the opening of Police Story.
Yeah.
Where Jackie Chan is going through the shanty towns in Hong Kong. Yeah. But these guys are going through war-torn Beirut and they're just fucking a hauling ass. And they're being chased by all these dudes. And it's just a great action scene. You get Chuck Norris hanging outside of a van shooting people.
Yeah.
It's if you paid your money to see stuff blow up, you're getting your money's worth from now on in the movie.
Absolutely.
And I will say this though, I think Menachem probably doesn't get enough credit for being a good action director.
Yeah.
He's one of the better action directors of the 80s.
True. Now, had he stuck to just straight action, he'd probably be remembered in a lot better terms.
If he hadn't done The Apple or...
Yeah, among others.
Yeah.
But yeah, he really knew what he was doing. There was a lot of stuff that he was doing back then that has become commonplace now.
Yeah.
In chase sequences and shootouts and things like that. Just in the way they're shot and the way they're cut.
Placing the camera low and having all the stuff come above it.
The blocking and the fucking the choreography, for want of a better term.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff that he was doing back then that it's just the standard now.
This scene is really important though, because it actually gives the film the proper use of its amazing score.
Oh yes, I've been waiting for you to bring this one up,
and I'm hoping I hope it's playing at the moment. The Delta Force theme. I hope it's embedded. Our tones.
Yeah, the two words when I think of that, the two words that sort of come to my mind are like tense. With a little bit of majestic thrown in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For those who were interested, it was composed by Alan Silvestri, who probably his most famous score at the moment might be The Avengers.
Yeah.
He did the Marvel Avenger movie there a few years ago.
Yeah.
I think he did the Goonies as well, and Back to the Future and stuff like that. So this guy's a heavy hitter.
Yeah. And he has done some really tremendous.
Oh yeah, and this is like a really great synth score, and it's really kind of I wouldn't say gung ho, I'd say gun ho.
Yeah.
Because it's all but like what's cool, and I remember listening to the Avengers score when that first one came up to it as well, and I remember going, "This is awesome. This is Alan Silvestri going back to that Delta Force style," because the drums he uses in the Avengers score are that same like. I don't know how to describe it, but that kind of fucking let's do it America drums, and that's probably why he was picked, because he knows how to do that kind of rousing stuff.
And later on in the movie, his score becomes probably the star of the show.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's so good. And we'll have more on that in one of the last segments. But the things as they shit the bed for the Delta Force at this point.
Yeah.
So they regroup and plan an elaborate action scene. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
And they put the boots to the boys, to Abdul and his lads. So to get into the last to the home straight on this one, the last half hour is basically Chuck Norris and Lee Marvin kicking the shit out of a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And to that awesome music.
Yeah, this is the part of the movie where I'm not sure. I don't know if we'll agree or disagree on this one, but the tone takes a jarring fucking shift.
Yeah,
it goes from like Airport 65 to Invasion USA in the blink of an eye.
And
like this is a movie of two halves.
And you know what?
Yeah,
it's fine. As far as I'm concerned.
See, I'm not so sure. Like, I mean,
it's what the thing is, like, what I really enjoyed about the last half hour is that, and this is pure fantasy.
Yeah, like
this is clearly not what happened in the real world. You know what happened in the real world was de-escalation.
Yeah,
but like I wish I was immune to this stuff. But when I was watching the last half hour of this, I was like, I fucking love it. Look at, he's beating up those dudes, and now he's got a fucking bike that fires rockets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of lads shooting fellas.
Now, that being said, there was even some great tension in these action sequences. Like the bit where they're going into the school.
Yeah.
And they've got the plastic explosive into where the hostages are being kept and shit. Yeah. And they've got the fucking synchronize your watches kind of thing, it's going off in 30 seconds and and you're just sort of waiting like shit's going to kick off, it's fucking kicking off.
It's well, that's the thing, like it goes from like 2 to 12 pretty quickly, and but at the same time, as I said, like it's cool. Like they're shooting up this one area, and then they have rocket launchers, and they're launching rockets at fellas.
The rocket launchers on the bikes now. That was
I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, that was a bit sort of beyond Thunderdome.
Yeah, it's weird. What it reminded me of actually was I was there going, this is essentially Metal Gear Solid. Do you know in Metal Gear Solid they have those 80s set games? Yeah. With all the future tech in it.
Yeah.
This is kind of it.
Yeah, you're not far off.
Yeah. No, I haven't really played any Metal Gear Solid games. So
and it would make sense since Kojima's a massive hack. But
oh, okay.
sorry. You can cut that out if you like. It's a controversial opinion.
It's your opinion, but I can't really say I've played anything.
Fair enough.
I've no real opinion. They've got the hostages moving. Abdul and the guys have got the hostages moving, and Chuck and the lads have to get them. So they chase them down and basically go through everyone like fucking butter.
Yeah.
They rescue the hostages. So Lee... I was going to say Lee Majors. Lee Marvin.
No, Lee Marvin's a different animal.
But Lee Marvin is there going, let's get back on the plane and take off. And they're going, what about Chuck? And he goes, she's always fucking late.
Fucking, no mind that cunt.
Yeah.
He'd be late to his own fucking funeral, so he would.
But Chuck is there going, fuck the plane, I'm going to go after Robert Forster's car.
Yeah.
So he chases him down. And
to a suspiciously well unguarded yet really nice house.
Yeah, someone's gaff.
Yeah,
and
it's definitely not a soundstage somewhere.
No,
it's definitely not.
But Abdul, he's in there and he's there going, I don't think he saw me come in here. I think I'm fine. And unfortunately for him, Chuck Norris has X-ray vision because he drives his motorbike through the exact right window he needed to get at him.
Yeah, and caught him with the perfect punch.
Yeah.
Going at least 40 miles an hour.
Oh, he would have shattered his head.
Yeah.
You know? But they...
And as you would expect with a Chuck Norris hand-to-hand combat scene, he kicks 7 shades of shite out of Abdul.
Yeah.
Or... Abdul, right. And, I was kind of feeling bad for the New World Revolution terrorist at this point. It's like, he's getting the holy fuck beaten out of him.
Yeah, they went from being the New World Revolution to being the Nexus.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like when you watch the Hulk Hogan match in the 80s. And as soon as Hogan started making his comeback, the other guy never got any offense in.
As soon as he points, it's done.
It's over.
Yeah.
And that's the only one thing I will say, like, if this was made now, I think Abdul would get a bit of offense in.
Yeah, there'd be it'd be sort of like the sauna fight in Eastern Promises or something. There'd be a bit down and dirty, like.
I'm sure Menachem Golan though just went, do you honestly think some fucker from the Lebanon would be able to fight against Chuck Norris?
Hell no.
Get fucked.
What about his death now? We have to talk about this, because this is probably the silliest fucking part of this entire movie.
Where he's in the car, isn't he?
Yeah. What happens is he's getting into the car. Chuck jumps through a window, kicks the car shut on his arm, breaking it instantly.
Yeah.
Throws a few slaps at him.
Yeah.
He's knocked out. On the.
We don't mean to build. It's not like it's not like Ip Man.
Yeah.
He's not going.
Yeah. But he's throwing slaps and he's throwing them, punches and bunches. Like.
Yeah, yeah.
And he leaves him on the driver's seat of this car and just walks away. And I'm thinking, okay, where the fuck are you going with this? And I was like, maybe he's going to take him in.
Yeah.
Maybe he's going
to... Which would be the smart move.
Yeah, you can question this high-ranking fucking guy in a terrorist organization.
Bring him to justice.
That, keep him in Supermax or something like that,
Yeah.
Supermax prison, not the...
not the takeaway in Ayr Square.
Not the takeaway in Ayr Square.
Supermax.
It's Supermax prison, that's what it's called.
Yeah,
Look it up. Yeah. But,
keep him in Supermax.
We will feed you, feed him fucking
3 snacks boxes a day.
Exactly, until he's the size of a house. But there's
no, you'll go nowhere because you're morbidly obese.
Yeah, you and oats. And he just leaves him there.
Yeah.
And it gets on his bike and it looks like he's driving away.
And then he shits out a missile.
Yeah, and he shits a missile out of the back of this fucking thing.
Yeah. Blows up the fucking
him
car.
Up.
I love the idea of him coming back to America.
Yeah.
And they're going, well, let's debrief. So, you had him in hand.
Yeah.
And he was offering no real resistance. And you let him get in a car. And then when he was basically dying from the bodily damage you'd inflicted on him.
But he was still trying to point a gun at you.
Yeah, you blew him up.
Yeah.
He was pointing a gun at you, yes, Chuck. But I think that was only because you let him point that gun, wasn't it? This is...
It's not like he took it from you and was, he was going to, your life was in imminent danger.
Yeah.
But, debriefing on this one, unless Lee Marvin was doing it, because Lee Marvin don't give a shit.
Here's the thing, right? If this was real, if this really happened, Chuck Norris would have been shamed by Julian Assange by now.
Yeah, probably.
You know,
that fucking liberal media, I swear to God.
Oh God, the Guardian would have several articles.
I know, right?
And it hurt.
Oh, but, I'm sure it hurt his beard.
But he races back to get the... Again, it's like a romantic comedy. It's to me where he's racing back to get the plane back to... And that's the thing. He's not in love with Lee Marvin or any of the lads on the plane. He's in love with America.
No, he kind of is in love with the guy he saved at the start.
Oh yeah. He's mate.
And his mate in the fucking taking of Abdul, he took one to the chest.
Yeah.
And the whole opening scene of this was just foreshadowing for this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to make trying to like up the tension a little bit more.
Yeah.
And somehow after Delta Force get on this plane and they're about to take off, the terrorist boys, they're driving towards them in jeeps, shooting and everything. Chuck jumps over the gate going into the airport somehow.
Yeah.
There was a conveniently placed ramp somewhere along the way.
Well, there's always ramps in airports. That's how you get onto the plane.
You got a point there.
but
like outside the gate of the airport.
Sure, where else are you going to keep it?
Fair point. And he takes these guys out and they dangle a bit of rope down.
Yeah.
And this is another goddamn ridiculous moment.
He jumps up on the back of the bike
yeah.
with his feet.
Yeah.
And then jumps and snatches the rope and they pull him back on.
Yeah, now this wouldn't make you go any faster. So unless he's just doing a bit of cock waving on his way out of the Middle East.
Yeah.
Wow, what do you gain from that?
I don't know. It's actually reminded me of the end of that episode of Father Ted. Where Ted's on the plane.
Yeah.
It's just completely unnecessary, but, who cares?
Yeah, fuck it, why not?
But the thing that really struck me when I was watching this was they're back on the plane and they're in the sky. And this guy walks in, they're singing America the Beautiful or whatever, everyone on the plane.
And they're passing around Budweiser.
And they make sure and say, they don't say, we got beers, lads. They go, we've got Budweiser.
Nice cold Budweiser. USA. USA.
I half expected,
USA.
Fucking Lex Luger to fucking body slam Yokozuna in the aisle. It was just ridiculous.
And fucking, Hulk Hogan to pose down and American Made to just start fucking playing.
Ronald Reagan to come on and rip up someone's medical card. It was ridiculous.
The only thing that would have made it more American was if they restricted the voting rights of minorities.
Yeah, or if they shot a child.
One or the other.
Yeah,
Were you really expecting that we wouldn't?
Yeah.
Were you really expecting that we were going to hold back for even one episode? It was never going to happen.
You knew
By the way,
snakes.
Mel, that was for you.
Yeah. You knew we were snakes.
Yeah.
It was all
our cunts, as the case may be.
It was us all along. Look, lads, I'm just saying, alright? I don't mean to make light of police shootings in America, alright? But if you stop shooting people, there'll be less urge to make jokes.
Yeah.
Basically, you're wrong.
Exactly.
Okay.
We're not the bad guys here.
Yeah.
We're
not bad guys. We're not good guys. We're just pricks.
Dare now.
But so that's basically.
There was one last scene I wanted to talk about, and I was like, I'm not sure if this was handled right, because in the modern day, this would be handled very differently. There'd be sort of like Harry Gregson Williams music playing over this and stuff. Where the hostages come out the front of the plane, and there's like all the women and children who left the plane earlier are there to meet them. It's this big happy moment, and all the Israeli press and what have you, the world press are there. Taking in this happy moment. And off to the side, there's the Delta Force carrying their fallen brother back to their plane, and it's like, I'm not sure they did that one right. Like, they really got the full emotional squeeze you could have got out of that scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was sort of like the end of the movie. It was the tagline of the movie.
Well, this is a film that is basically torn asunder. Like you were saying earlier on, it's half gung-ho action movie, half serious thriller.
Yeah.
on an airplane. Like, I'll say this, it's one of the better plane movies.
Yeah.
It's better than that Liam Neeson one.
That's fair. That is better than Air Force One.
Taking a flight.
Yeah.
You know, but
better than Air Force One, I'll say that.
Overall, what would your opinion be on the Delta Force? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Quick review. Very disjointed, kind of jarring, but overall, strong thumbs up.
Yeah, me too. I really enjoyed the Delta Force. It's like, you can hear how cynical we both are, no doubt, on this podcast about everything in there. And I think we give it a fair shake of the stick.
Most definitely.
Ultimately, I would agree. I enjoyed it. Now, I couldn't find any... I want to get the people's voice first, okay? Now, unfortunately, there isn't a full version of the Delta Force on YouTube. The true voice of the proletariat.
Yes.
The YouTube comment section.
Oh, most definitely.
So what I did was I went to the theme song, which we discussed earlier on. And if you want, good brother, you can play it again here while I read out the thoughts and minds, of the people here who are discussing the Delta Force theme song. One thing, my overall thing is, I think when in America they say "Make America Great Again," I think the Delta Force is exactly what they're thinking about. I think that's how great they want America to be. Stephen from Choom has this to say. Stephen says, "I can feel the freedom in this song."
What? Like if you cut it open, it would just ooze liberty.
Yeah. This eagle beaks. Danny from Clare Galway has this to say, "I listen to this every time I take a shit."
And they truly are the most freeing shits there are.
Yeah, and Ben replied, "Yeah, maybe good as the dramatic music for the mad car race to get to the nearest gas station. Can before you have a backside Johnstown flood."
What? That was a reply to the shit.
Yeah, he was basically going, thumbs up.
Well, I suppose if you are looking for suspense-filled music for that last-minute dash to the jacks, you can do a lot worse than Delta Force. I mean...
Miguel from Castle Bar has this.
Okay.
153 Talibans in ISIS do not like this movie team.
Fair play to you, Miguel. Fair play to you.
This is in response to the up/down voting score.
Oh, yes.
Theme score on YouTube. Maybe he's right.
It could well. Well, ISIS are very tech savvy, and I'm sure they're trying to learn from history. What not to do.
They're going, lads. Fucking item 1. Downvote the fucking Delta Force team on YouTube. These cunts need to pay.
Did I ever tell you about, there was a story a couple of months ago about a bunch of guys who hacked one of ISIS's Twitter accounts.
Okay.
And they changed the ISIS logo on all the flags to read "We love dicks, yummy yummy dicks." Which is top quality. I mean, fair play to you lads.
Ricardo from Kilmuckridge says, "If the whole world united, this would be the song to go after ISIS. The lead tank would have Chuck Norris' face on it. ... USA, baby." This guy's name, he has quite a international pun.
Okay.
Wemma bitches, spelled that way.
I see it.
Says, Wemma bitches from Arklow says, "My dick is hard."
As it damn well should be.
I think he probably feels that way a lot of the time.
I would have to imagine so.
Bill from Carrickfergus says, it phonetically summarizes all things imperialistic about America.
Not really, no.
Wrote that with his fucking left hand, I think.
Yeah, on his iPod.
Yeah. Michael Kelly from Chicago says, "Why doesn't Chuck Norris negotiate with terrorists? He blows them away." Now, I don't know if Michael here meant to ask an important question about the morals of this film, but he has.
He kind of has, yeah. And I'm sure this has been raised a few times as well. But, okay, In real world, I'm sure there was like there was some way you could de-escalate this situation. However, you don't hire on Lee Marvin and Chuck Norris into a movie where you're going to de-escalate a situation.
Yeah.
You hire them. They are escalators of the highest order.
I think what Mickey here has to say is, I think what he meant to say is, Chuck Norris doesn't negotiate with terrorists! !
Exactly.
He blows them away. 3 more exclamation marks.
Yeah.
Instead, he asks a really important question about the films at the time and the representation of both terrorism and people from the Arab world in general.
Yeah, well, it was weird. I mean, looking back at it now after 15 years of the post 9/11 world, that's a term I fucking hate.
Yeah.
But it does apply. Where, you know, your average person living in Western Europe or America, terrorism's a very fucking real threat. Back then, terrorists were who Steven Seagal roundhouse kicked.
Yeah.
You know, we had a bit of distance from it.
You know, it was the 80s as well because Steven Seagal was able to do a roundhouse kick.
Yeah.
But finally, the last comment here. 13-3, I think he's from Boyle, says, "This is practically the only song in the movie to which his and hers reactions replied reactively. It's the only song the movie needed."
God fucking Christ.
Yes. Checkmate, atheists. But that's what YouTube had to say about it.
Yeah.
Anyway. And I think we can all agree that we learned something here.
Yeah. I feel better.
Now, critically, Delta Force, by professional critics, not well received. Has like a 20% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
And it was harshly criticized at the time for its interpretation of the aforementioned hostage crises.
Yeah.
And in general, kind of decried for being typical of Canon's kind of output of guns first, questions never.
Well, there is a certain amount of truth to that. It could have been a more sensitive take on the situation and what have you.
Yeah.
But like I said earlier, this kind of was an exploitation movie.
Yeah. But what I think was so interesting about like recording this podcast was we could talk about it as a film. Like we were so far removed from the actual hostage crisis of the 80s that I think
like the fact that you had to ask about the PFLP kind of speaks volumes.
Yeah. I'll go to a negative review first.
Please do.
And this reviewer has something to say to both you and I.
Okay.
Matthew Galt from warisboring.com writes, "The Delta Force is a pornographic embarrassment of a movie. Shame on anyone who actually likes this exploitative piece of escapist crap."
Alright, speaking as a man, could you read that back again?
The Delta Force is a pornographic embarrassment.
Okay, stop there. Speaking as a man who is quite an expert in pornographic embarrassment, this movie is not a pornographic embarrassment.
Yes.
This movie, for a film of its time, like you said, we have a very close to 3 dimensions on the villains of this fucking piece.
No, I didn't get to read all of Matthew's criticisms.
Please.
No, I don't have them here.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to get a taste.
Yeah.
You know? And look at Matthew here is entitled to his opinion.
Yeah, and from a website called War is Boring, you could kind of tell where he was gonna fall on this one.
And I couldn't disagree more though. And I'm a pacifist. And all that. War is probably the most interesting thing in human history.
You know, as
Genghis Khan, alright, is way more interesting than Michael D. Higgins.
True.
Alright, and I love Michael D. Higgins.
Yeah, and just as a film fan, you know, I think it was Joe Bob Briggs who said, you know, I'm against horrific violence towards women unless it advances the plot. You know, and I kind of feel the same way about violence in general.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 100% against it in real life.
Yeah, we live in the safest city in the world.
Probably,
almost.
yeah.
Like, yeah, we don't want it to get more violent.
Yeah.
But film violence is fine.
Exactly.
It's film.
Yeah. And you walk away.
Yeah.
And you have a cup of tea and maybe go for a pint or something.
And I think, based on our discussion, I hope everyone can see that we have a realistic view of this film.
Yeah.
But Roger Ebert is bizarrely a champion of the... He gave the film 3 stars out of 4 and said, "I thought this was going to be another hilarious disaster movie, but I was wrong. The Delta Force settles down into a well-made action film that tantalizes us with its parallels to real life."
And I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a bit of the pro wrestling work about this movie. You know, that there was just enough of reality to hook you in.
Yeah.
You know, before it went a bit Chuck Norris crazy in the last half hour. But he definitely has something there. And honestly, I think this was probably one of the better Canon releases in that regard. In terms of it's not quite up there with like Runaway Train in terms of like characterization or plot or what have you.
Yeah.
But it's not far off, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I mean, if anything, the victims and the villains are more characterized than the fucking heroes of this thing.
Yeah.
And how many action movies can you say that about?
Mm-hmm. If another person had directed it, it probably would have been like if
it was made today, Paul Greenglass would be directing this thing.
Greengrass.
Sorry.
But someone like him would have directed it. Someone like Catherine Bigelow maybe.
Yeah.
Would have directed it, and it would have been a different movie.
Oh, most definitely.
But Menachem Golan directed it, and it was Chuck Norris action film.
Okay, here is a question for you. If Menachem had access to a time machine or whatever, and could get anyone in the world other than himself to direct this movie, who would you want him? Who would you want him to get?
Time machine,
or time, any place, any time. Let's not limit it to the 80s. Any time.
Let me think. I don't know, John Woo. I don't know. No, as a Catherine Bigelow would be a really good pick. She has done a lot of films about wartime stuff.
Yeah.
And she's a really interesting director who really knows how to do like kind of thrilling action as well. I mean, she did Near Dark and was it Point Break?
Yeah. I would try to get I'd probably try to get someone like Ridley Scott.
I
reckon he could have done this beautifully, like, but,
he did, what was it, Black Hawk Down?
Yeah, which was a bit
but like similar setting. I've never seen it, but
similar setting. Wasn't a tremendously good. It was okay.
Yeah,
it was 3 stars. Ridley Scott sort of post Aliens. That would be the time I'd want to get him for it.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much that's all we've really got to say on Delta Force. However, this isn't a one-off. All right, we're back for as long as we can stand each other. And,
fuck you.
But obviously, we promised a lot of people a Charles Bronson Christmas special last year, and Santa didn't come.
Yeah,
the microphone setup we had, the computer setup we had, just let us down.
Yeah,
and but now we're back. We're sounding healthy. We're back. We're better than ever, and you done it now. But I think it's time for us to pick up that slack.
Yeah,
and talk about and just finally get it out of our systems. Talk about one of the best films of the 80s.
Yeah,
one of the best films of all time. Michael Winner's magnum opus, Death Wish 3.
Oh yes,
lay it on us.
New York, a city pushed to the edge. People pushed to the limit, and no one's got the guts to stop them.
It's collection time, Charlie.
3 murders, 4 rapes, 9 acts of random violence. This isn't a neighborhood, it's a war.
But there is one way. One man who won't be pushed. Charles Bronson.
What's the problem? Now you're gonna die.
It'll be just like before, Mr. Vigilante, with one important difference. You're gonna work for me.
People have got to start to fight back and hard.
I sent them a message.
That's him. I'll take care of him.
Now he's in the middle of a war.
See what you done? You got me mad.
In a world gone mad, there is only one law. His, Charles Bronson, Death Wish 3. Bronson's back in New York. bringing justice to the streets. Charles Bronson, Death Wish 3.
Well, anything else for the people, Sean, before we get out of here?
Just want to say one thing, and this is sort of a personalised thing. When we first announced on social media that the Canon was coming back, a friend of mine, Andrew Shine, he asked us to give a very strange review. He wanted us to review the VH1 reality show Rock of Love, where where Bret Michaels is looking for a thing to fuck.
The heartbreak hitman, Bret Michaels.
Exactly. And I just want to say to my good friend Andrew Shine, there is absolutely no fucking chance in hell we are going to do that.
I mean, it's really sad.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the way.
I have no intention of sitting through like 10 or 12 hours of this wank.
Oh, Lord. So, we won't be doing that.
Absolutely not.
But yeah, we'll be back. I don't know when we'll be back. I think this is going to be a bit more of a casual release schedule.
Yeah.
Rather than sticking to every 2 weeks. Make you miss us.
Exactly.
And if you didn't miss us by now, I mean...
You're never gonna.
Yeah. But so obviously, actually, as you bring it up, I would like to say just a special thanks to everybody who gave us shit for not recording this.
Yeah.
During our big hiatus.
Yeah, to all of the fine folks out there who called us limey cocksuckers and things
though that doesn't really work.
Yeah, I don't taste a lime. What are you talking about?
But look, just all those people. Thanks for keeping the pressure on. Clearly, we didn't really.
It didn't. It was a slow burn.
It was a slow burn.
It's a slow burn.
It's like a roast chicken, you know. But to everybody, I hope you're back with us, and I hope that you were both brought back into the fold. I hope you had some fun. I hope you're offended. I hope you'll join us again for Death Wish 3.
And on that note, live your life. It's not my child.
All right. See you later.
kept you waiting, huh?